Hey people, before we fall asleep together, please write in the comments when and from where you are watching the video. Thank you. And now off to our sleep stories about Star Wars. Journey to dreams in a galaxy far, far away. Close your eyes and let your mind drift to a galaxy far, far away, where the Force flows through every star, every planet, and every dreaming soul. Tonight, we uncover secrets that even the Jedi Council kept hidden, revelations that would shake the very foundations of the Republic itself. The whispers began when Ryan Gosling was spotted on Mediterranean shores, not for another romantic drama, but wearing the unmistakable garb of a Star Wars pilot. What Lucasfilm thought they could keep secret has slowly unraveled, revealing a story that connects to the deepest mysteries of the Force itself. The rumors surrounding Starfighter aren't just about another space battle. They're about rewriting everything we thought we knew about the galaxy's future. But this is only the beginning of our journey through the hidden corners of Star Wars lore, where sleep meets the eternal dance between light and dark, where your dreams become part of the living force that binds all things together. The Gosling Enigma, A New Hope, emerges in the shadowed valleys of distant worlds, where twin suns set behind crystalline formations. A new story begins to unfold. The casting of Ryan Gosling sent shockwaves through the fan community, not because he lacks the gravitas for Star Wars, but because his character represents something unprecedented in the saga's mythology. Unlike the Skywalkers, unlike the Solos, this protagonist carries no legacy bloodline, no inherited connection to the Force. The Mediterranean filming locations have become shrouded in as much mystery as the ancient Jedi temples of Coruscant. Crew members speak in hushed tones about scenes involving technologies that don't appear in any existing Star Wars database. Strange crystalline structures that seem to pulse with their own inner light, starfighter designs that blur the line between machine and living organism. One cinematographer, who requested anonymity, described witnessing Gosling's character interfacing with his ship in ways that seemed to transcend normal pilot-machine relationships. What makes this revelation even more intriguing is the confirmed post-Episode 9 timeline. The galaxy Rey left behind has transformed in ways that challenge our fundamental understanding of how the Force operates. The Resistance's victory over the Final Order wasn't the end of the story. It was merely the closing of one chapter in a much larger cosmic narrative. In this new era, the Force itself seems to be evolving, seeking new vessels, new champions who don't fit the traditional molds of Jedi or Sith. The character Gosling portrays isn't just another pilot or smuggler. According to leaked concept art, his connection to the Force manifests in ways that would have been considered impossible during the time of the Old Republic. He doesn't wield a lightsaber in the traditional sense, yet his weapon pulses with the same energy that once flowed through Anakin Skywalker's blade. He doesn't follow the Jedi code, yet his actions seem guided by a wisdom that surpasses even Master Yoda's teachings. As filming continues in secret locations across the Mediterranean, each day brings new questions about how this lone starfighter pilot will reshape our understanding of destiny, choice, and the eternal struggle between chaos and order. The Force, it seems, still has many secrets to reveal, and Ryan Gosling's character may be the key to unlocking them all. Kinberg's vision, Shadows of the Empire's Return. Simon Kinberg's approach to his upcoming trilogy draws inspiration from the saga's darkest chapters, particularly The Empire Strikes Back and the morally complex world of Andor. This isn't the bright, hopeful Star Wars of A New Hope or Return of the Jedi. Instead, Kinberg is crafting a narrative that acknowledges the galaxy's scars, the countless worlds still bearing the marks of Imperial oppression, the communities struggling to rebuild after generations of warfare. The trilogy will explore territory beyond the sequel films, but not in the way fans might expect. Rather than jumping decades into the future, Kinberg's vision involves parallel timelines, alternative realities, where key decisions in galactic history unfolded differently. Imagine a universe where Anakin Skywalker never turned to the dark side, where the Clone Wars ended not in Republic transformation, but in true peace. Or conversely, a reality where the Empire never fell, where Luke Skywalker failed in his mission to redeem his father. These aren't mere what-if scenarios designed for fan service. Kinberg's trilogy explores how the Force itself responds to these alternate realities, how the cosmic balance shifts when pivotal moments unfold along different paths. The Jedi Council's ancient archives spoke of the world between worlds, a mystical realm where all possible futures and pasts intersect. Recent archaeological discoveries on forgotten Sith worlds suggest this wasn't metaphorical, but literal, a physical space where the fabric of reality grows thin. The controversy surrounding Kinberg's vision stems from its implications for canonical characters. If alternate realities are not just possible, but actively connected to the prime timeline, then characters we believed dead might still exist somewhere in the cosmic web. Mace Windu's fall from Palpatine's office, Qui-Gon Jinn's fatal duel with Darth Maul, even Padme Amidala's tragic death during childbirth. All of these moments exist as nexus points where reality could have branched in entirely different directions. What makes this approach particularly intriguing is how it explains certain Force phenomena that have puzzled scholars for millennia. How did Anakin Skywalker know his mother was suffering on Tatooine when he was systems away on Coruscant? How did Luke sense Leia's presence during the evacuation of Cloud City? The answer may lie not in simple Force sensitivity, but in unconscious awareness of alternate timelines, where these connections played out differently. As you settle deeper into your pillow, imagine the vast web of possibilities that surrounds every moment, every choice, every dream. In Kinberg's vision of Star Wars, your sleeping mind might actually be touching these alternate realities, experiencing the dreams of a Jedi who lived, a Sith who found redemption, an Empire that chose peace over conquest, The Mandalorian's cinematic destiny. The announcement that The Mandalorian and Grogu would transition to the big screen sent ripples of excitement through the Star Wars community. But the true implications of this decision run deeper than simple fan service. Din Djarin's journey from isolated bounty hunter to reluctant father figure represents more than character development. It mirrors a fundamental shift in how the galaxy understands the Force itself. Grogu's abilities continue to evolve in ways that challenge traditional Jedi training methodologies. Unlike the younglings of the Clone Wars era, who began their education in infancy within the temple's structured environment, Grogu developed his Force sensitivity in the wild, shaped by survival instincts rather than ancient codes. His use of the Force is more intuitive, more primal, and arguably more powerful than anything the Jedi Council ever documented. The cinematic treatment of their story will explore themes that the television format could only hint at. The true nature of Grogu's species remains one of the galaxy's greatest mysteries, but recent discoveries in the Outer Rim territories suggest connections to the Force that predate the Jedi Order itself. Ancient cave paintings on worlds that barely register on galactic maps depict beings matching Grogu's appearance, wielding the Force not as a tool or discipline, but as a natural extension of their existence. Din Djarin's transformation from lone warrior to protective guardian reflects a deeper truth about the galaxy's healing process. The Mandalorian's warrior culture, forged in response to Jedi aggression and Imperial oppression, begins to evolve when confronted with innocence that must be protected rather than conquered. The Beskar steel that once symbolized isolation and violence becomes armor for nurturing and guidance. Their upcoming big screen adventure will delve into the Outer Rim's hidden worlds, places where the galaxy's wounded have retreated to heal, away from the core world's politics and power struggles. Here, former Imperial officers work alongside ex-rebels, united not by ideology, but by the shared desire to build something better for the next generation. Grogu becomes a symbol of this possibility, a being powerful enough to destroy, choosing instead to learn, to grow, to heal. The film's most profound revelation involves the true purpose behind the Force-sensitive children the Empire sought to capture during its reign. These younglings weren't just raw material for twisted experiments or replacements for fallen Inquisitors. They represented Palpatine's ultimate insurance policy, a generation of Force users who could reshape reality itself according to his will. Grogu's escape from this fate and his bond with Din Djarin represents hope's victory over manipulation, love's triumph over exploitation. As your breathing deepens and your mind drifts towards sleep, consider the bond between protector and protected, between the battle-scarred warrior and the innocent child. In their relationship, the galaxy finds a new way forward, a path that honors both strength and gentleness, both tradition and change. Secrets of the ancient temples, hidden beneath Coruscant's city planet's surface, in chambers that haven't felt natural light for thousands of years. Archaeologists working with the New Republic have uncovered artifacts that rewrite our understanding of the Force's origins. These discoveries challenge everything the Jedi taught about balance, about destiny, about the eternal struggle between light and dark. The most significant find involves crystalline matrices that predate the first Jedi Temple by millennia. These structures don't just channel the Force, they seem to generate it, creating localized fields of enhanced sensitivity that can transform ordinary individuals into powerful Force users within hours of exposure. The implications are staggering. If the Force can be artificially amplified, what does that mean for concepts of chosen ones, inherited abilities, or natural talent? Master Luke Skywalker's attempts to rebuild the Jedi Order faced challenges that went far beyond Ben Solo's fall to the dark side. The ancient archives he recovered from Imperial vaults contained references to Force techniques that the Council had banned for good reason. techniques for transferring consciousness between bodies, for manipulating time itself, for reaching across the galaxy to influence events through pure willpower. Luke's academy wasn't just destroyed by his nephew's lightsaber, it was consumed by knowledge too dangerous for anyone to possess. The forbidden teachings spoke of the Force not as a mystical energy field, but as a living entity with its own agenda, its own plans for the galaxy's future. The Jedi and Sith weren't opposing philosophies, but complementary aspects of the Force's evolutionary process, necessary phases in a cycle that spans millions of years. The Chosen One prophecy didn't refer to a single individual, but to entire civilizations destined to rise, achieve balance, and pass their accumulated wisdom to the next iteration of galactic society. Anakin Skywalker's fall and redemption suddenly take on new meaning within this framework. His transformation into Darth Vader wasn't a failure of Jedi training or personal weakness, but a necessary step in the Force's grand design. Only by experiencing both absolute power and absolute loss could he develop the wisdom needed to guide his son toward true balance. His final sacrifice aboard the second Death Star wasn't just saving Luke's life, it was completing a cycle that had been in motion since the first sentient beings learned to touch the Force. Even Yoda, with his centuries of experience and deep connection to the living Force, seemed to understand only fragments of this larger truth. His exile on Dagobah placed him at the site of an ancient Force nexus, a place where the barriers between past, present, and future grow thin. His teachings to Luke weren't just Jedi doctrine, but carefully selected fragments of cosmic truth, parceled out in doses that a young human mind could process without being overwhelmed. The temple ruins scattered across the galaxy tell the story of civilizations that achieved perfect Force balance, only to transcend physical existence entirely. These aren't tales of destruction, but of graduation, of species so attuned to the Force's will that they no longer needed material form to continue their cosmic purpose. The Jedi's emphasis on attachment and loss suddenly seems less like wisdom and more like preparation for this ultimate transformation. As your consciousness begins to merge with the deeper rhythms of sleep, imagine these ancient builders, these long-vanished architects of cosmic harmony. Their temples still hum with residual energy. Their knowledge still whispers to those sensitive enough to listen. Their promise of transcendence still echoes through the dreams of every Force-sensitive being in the galaxy. Rey's continuing journey through time. The sequel trilogy's conclusion left many questions unanswered, but the most intriguing mysteries surround Rey's unique connection to the Force and her role in the galaxy's continuing evolution. Recent revelations from archived Jedi texts suggest that her abilities extend far beyond what even she realizes, touching realms of possibility that would have frightened the ancient masters. Rey's spontaneous mastery of Force techniques that took other Jedi years to learn wasn't simply due to her Palpatine bloodline or the dyad connection with Ben Solo. Archaeological evidence from Jakku's hidden ruins indicates that her homeworld sits atop one of the galaxy's most powerful Force nexuses, a planetary node in an ancient network that once connected every inhabited system. Growing up in this environment didn't just make her Force sensitive, it made her a living conduit for temporal energy, capable of accessing memories, skills, and knowledge from across the entire sweep of galactic history. The mysterious voices Rey heard during her final confrontation with Palpatine weren't just supportive spirits of dead Jedi. Recent analysis of the Imperial archives suggest these were echoes from alternate timelines, parallel realities where the Jedi Order never fell, where the Empire never rose, where the galaxy found peace through different means. Rey's victory over her grandfather wasn't just a triumph of good over evil. It was the convergence of countless possible futures, all focusing their combined strength through one determined young woman. Ben Solo's redemption and sacrifice created ripple effects that continue to reshape the Force itself. His return to the light didn't just save Rey's life, it healed a fracture in reality that had existed since Anakin Skywalker's first steps toward the dark side. The Skywalker saga wasn't just the story of one family's struggle with destiny, but a multi-generational healing process that finally restored the Force to its original state of dynamic balance. Rey's decision to take the Skywalker name represents more than honoring her mentors. In the Force's eternal cycle, names carry power, legacies shape reality, and chosen identities can literally rewrite history. By becoming Rey Skywalker, she doesn't just continue Luke and Leia's legacy, she transforms it, healing the pain that has haunted that bloodline for generations. The yellow lightsaber she constructs from her staff symbolizes this transformation, not Jedi blue or Sith red, but something entirely new, a synthesis that honors both tradition and innovation. Time travel elements that were only hinted at in the films become more explicit in the galaxy's continuing story. Rey's ability to perceive alternate timelines, to learn from Jedi who lived different lives in different realities, suggests that the Force has evolved beyond its previous limitations. The world between worlds that Ezra Bridger discovered was just one node in a vast temporal network that Rey can access at will, walking between possibilities like stepping through doorways. Her new Jedi Order won't be built on the failures of the past, but on the wisdom gleaned from infinite alternative presence. Students won't just learn lightsaber techniques and meditation practices. They'll explore the full spectrum of what the Force can achieve when freed from millennia of doctrinal limitations. Rey's Academy will train not just Jedi, but guardians of reality itself, protectors of the timeline who ensure that the galaxy's hard-won peace remains stable across all possible futures. As your mind drifts deeper into the realm of dreams, imagine Rey walking between worlds of possibility, learning from Jedi who never fell, Sith who found redemption, Emperors who chose mercy over power. In her footsteps, the galaxy writes new stories, new possibilities, new dreams of what peace might look like when the Force finally achieves perfect balance. Vader's hidden recordings, the Father's final truth. Deep within Mustafar's volcanic depths, where Darth Vader's fortress once stood as a monument to Imperial power, salvage crews working for the New Republic have uncovered artifacts that shed new light on Anakin Skywalker's transformation and ultimate redemption. Among the most significant discoveries are personal recordings that Vader created during his darkest years, intimate confessions that reveal the human soul surviving within the mechanical shell. These recordings, stored in quantum encrypted holocrons designed to survive even planetary destruction, contain Vader's private reflections on his fall, his service to the Emperor, and his growing awareness of the cosmic forces that shaped his destiny. The man behind the mask never stopped questioning, never stopped struggling with the choices that led him down the dark path. More importantly, these recordings reveal that Vader knew about Luke and Leia's survival years before their direct confrontation at Cloud City. The Chosen One prophecy that guided Qui-Gon Jinn's discovery of young Anakin contained layers of meaning that even the Jedi Council never fully understood. Vader's recordings include references to visions that came to him in moments of deep meditation, glimpses of alternate timelines where his choices led to different outcomes. In one reality, he never left Tatooine, living as a simple mechanic while the galaxy burned around him. In another, he rejected Palpatine's offer and died defending the Jedi Temple, his sacrifice inspiring a successful resistance movement. Most revealing are Vader's observations about the Force's true nature, insights that came to him through decades of wielding its dark aspects. The Emperor taught that the dark side offered power through emotion, through passion and anger and hate. But Vader discovered that these emotions were merely tools, surface manifestations of deeper cosmic currents that flowed between order and chaos, creation and destruction, love and loss. His mastery of the dark side wasn't abandonment of his essential nature. It was exploration of aspects of the Force that the Jedi had rejected out of fear. The recordings detail Vader's secret efforts to protect Force-sensitive children during the Imperial years. Interventions disguised as tactical decisions or strategic necessities. The younglings who escaped Order 66 didn't all survive through luck or hidden Jedi networks. Many were quietly shepherded to safety by the very enforcer tasked with hunting them. Vader's apparent cruelty masked a desperate attempt to preserve what remained of the galaxy's Force-sensitive population for future generations. His relationship with Luke wasn't just paternal instinct asserting itself over Sith conditioning. The recordings reveal Vader's growing understanding that his son represented not just biological legacy, but cosmic balance, the synthesis of light and dark that the Force had been working toward for millennia. Luke's victory over the Emperor wasn't just one young Jedi's triumph. It was the culmination of Anakin Skywalker's lifelong struggle to fulfill his true destiny as the Chosen One. Perhaps most surprisingly, the recordings suggest that Vader knew his redemption would require his death from the moment he first sensed Luke's presence in the galaxy. His final confrontation with Palpatine wasn't a spontaneous decision to save his son, but the completion of a plan decades in the making. Every cruel act, every moment of apparent loyalty to the Empire, every step deeper into darkness was part of a careful strategy to position himself for that crucial moment when the galaxy's fate hung in the balance. The fortress on Mustafar wasn't just Vader's retreat. It was his laboratory, his monastery, his preparation chamber for the ultimate sacrifice. The dark side energies he cultivated there weren't just weapons against his enemies, but tools for his own transformation, methods of purifying his spirit through the alchemy of suffering and redemption. In embracing his darkest impulses, he learned to transcend them, achieving a balance that neither pure Jedi nor absolute Sith could comprehend. As you drift deeper into sleep's embrace, hear Vader's mechanical breathing, not as a symbol of tyranny, but as the rhythm of a soul learning to breathe free, a heart discovering that love's power transcends even the grave. A father's voice still echoing through the Force to guide his children toward the light. The Skywalker legacy, bloodline of infinity. The Skywalker family's impact on galactic history extends far beyond the adventures chronicled in the films and series. Recent archaeological discoveries and Force visions experienced by sensitive individuals across the galaxy suggest that the Skywalker bloodline carries a genetic memory that spans not just generations, but entire evolutionary cycles of galactic civilization. Shmi Skywalker's miraculous conception of Anakin wasn't an isolated event, but part of a pattern that repeats every few thousand years when the Force identifies civilizations ready for their next evolutionary leap. Historical records from the Old Republic, pieced together from fragments scattered across dozens of worlds, reference similar births during previous periods of galactic transformation. Each time, a child is born without biological father, carrying within their genetic structure the template for a new form of Force sensitivity that will reshape the galaxy's spiritual development. The midichlorians that the Jedi used to measure Force potential weren't just symbiotic organisms living within Force-sensitive individuals. They were actually fragments of a galactic consciousness that the Force uses to guide the evolution of sentient life. Anakin's unprecedented midichlorian count didn't just indicate potential for power, but marked him as a carrier of the Force's accumulated wisdom from millions of years of galactic development. Luke Skywalker's brief attempt to rebuild the Jedi Order failed not because of Ben Solo's betrayal, but because Luke tried to recreate the past instead of embracing the future the Force was offering. His students weren't meant to become traditional Jedi, but pioneers of a new form of Force mastery that would integrate light and dark aspects into a synthesis that transcended the ancient conflict. Ben's fall to the dark side was actually a necessary step in this process, ensuring that the new generation would understand both extremes before achieving true balance. Leia Organa's political career and Force sensitivity weren't separate aspects of her character, but complementary expressions of the Skywalker legacy. Her ability to inspire hope, to unite diverse factions, to see solutions that escaped trained diplomats and seasoned military leaders. These weren't just natural talents, but Force abilities specifically evolved for the galaxy's healing process. Through her work with the Resistance, she demonstrated that the Force could manifest not just through lightsaber combat and telekinetic displays, but through the more subtle arts of leadership, inspiration, and strategic vision. Rey's adoption of the Skywalker name wasn't just symbolic. It was a literal genetic activation, a quantum-level transformation that connected her cellular structure to the accumulated experiences of every previous Skywalker. Her yellow lightsaber doesn't just represent a new color in the spectrum of Force traditions, but a new frequency of reality manipulation that becomes possible when the bloodline's full potential is finally realized. The Skywalker saga's true conclusion won't come with any particular film or series, but when the galaxy achieves the evolutionary milestone that Anakin's birth was meant to catalyze. This transformation won't be obvious to casual observers. No dramatic battles, no world-destroying weapons, no fallen empires. Instead, it will manifest as a gradual but fundamental shift in how sentient beings relate to each other and to the Force itself. Children born after this transformation will carry enhanced empathic abilities, making large-scale conflicts psychologically impossible. Artists will channel the Force directly into their creations, producing works that heal trauma and inspire growth in anyone who experiences them. Scientists will discover technologies that work in harmony with the Force rather than simply exploiting natural phenomena for mechanical purposes. The Skywalker bloodline served as a bridge between the galaxy's primitive past and its transcendent future, each generation carrying the species one step closer to its ultimate destiny. Anakin learned the cost of power without wisdom. Luke discovered the strength found in mercy and sacrifice. Leia demonstrated how leadership could become a Force discipline. Rey showed how chosen identity could transform inherited destiny. As your consciousness settles into the deeper rhythms of sleep, feel the gentle presence of this cosmic family watching over the galaxy's dreams, their combined wisdom flowing through the Force to touch every sleeping mind with visions of peace, hope, and infinite possibility. Galaxy's Edge, where fiction meets the Force. Hidden within Disney's Galaxy's Edge theme park lies more than elaborate entertainment. The attraction contains genuine Force artifacts recovered from archaeological sites across the galaxy, items so powerful that their presence can awaken dormant sensitivity in ordinary visitors. What guests experience as immersive storytelling is actually carefully controlled exposure to authentic galactic history, managed by New Republic researchers working in partnership with surviving Jedi traditions. The Millennium Falcon cockpit that guests pilot isn't just a detailed replica, but contains navigational computers salvaged from actual smuggling vessels that served the rebellion. These systems retain quantum-level impressions of every hyperspace jump, every desperate escape, every moment of triumph and terror experienced by their crews. Sensitive individuals often report vivid dreams after their park visits, dreams filled with memories that aren't their own, but feel absolutely real. The lightsaber building experience taps into manufacturing techniques that predate the Jedi Order itself. Methods discovered in ruins on worlds so ancient that their stars have long since gone dark. The Kyber crystals used in these educational demonstrations are genuine specimens from the same mines that supplied the Jedi Temple for centuries. While scaled down for safety, they retain enough resonance to create authentic connections between builders and their constructed weapons. Most significantly, the park's layout follows the precise geometric patterns found in ancient Force temples throughout the galaxy. The pathways between attractions align with stellar configurations that enhance Force sensitivity, creating a pilgrimage route that subtly guides visitors through the same spiritual journey that Jedi initiates once experienced during their training. Children often display temporary Force abilities during their visits, objects moving slightly in response to their emotions, uncanny intuition about hidden secrets, brief moments of telepathic connection with family members. The rise of the Resistance attraction's immersive storytelling effects are powered by salvaged Imperial hologram technology combined with Sith alchemy artifacts. The realistic stormtroopers that interact with guests aren't entirely artificial. They're animated by echo patterns left in armor worn during actual battles, spectral impressions of soldiers who served the Empire and never found peace after its fall. The attraction serves a dual purpose: entertainment for visitors and healing for these trapped spirits, allowing them to experience the rebellion's ultimate victory from a new perspective. Behind the scenes, New Republic researchers monitor every interaction, documenting instances of spontaneous Force manifestation among park visitors. Their data reveals that exposure to authentic galactic artifacts, even in controlled recreational settings, can awaken dormant genetic potential that might otherwise remain inactive for generations. The park functions as both tourist destination and recruitment ground, identifying individuals whose enhanced sensitivity could benefit from formal training. The food served throughout Galaxy's Edge incorporates actual recipes from worlds across the Outer Rim, prepared using techniques that enhance the diner's connection to the living force. Blue milk isn't just exotic flavoring, but a genuine nutritional supplement that promotes the cellular health necessary for force sensitivity, the mental clarity and emotional balance that many visitors report after their meals result from carefully calculated combinations of nutrients that support midichlorian activity. Even the merchandise carries subtle influences, fabrics woven with threads that maintain quantum entanglement with their sources, metals that retain sympathetic vibrations from the foundries where they were forged, crystalline components that continue to resonate with their parent formations. Visitors who take these items home often find that their connection to the Star Wars universe deepens over time, dreams becoming more vivid, intuition growing stronger, empathy expanding beyond normal human ranges. The park represents something unprecedented in galactic history, a controlled introduction of Force awareness to a population not yet ready for full disclosure about the galaxy's true nature. As Earth's inhabitants gradually develop the spiritual maturity necessary for broader cosmic citizenship, attractions like Galaxy's Edge serve as stepping stones, preparing human consciousness for eventual integration into the galactic community. As your mind drifts toward sleep, carrying with it memories of lightsabers humming with energy, of starships racing through impossible spaces, of heroes facing darkness with nothing but hope and determination. Know that these aren't merely fantasies, but glimpses of a larger reality waiting to embrace all who dream of touching the stars, the eternal dream, where the Force flows forever, in the deepest spaces between sleeping and waking, where conscious thought gives way to the timeless wisdom of dreams. The Force reveals its most profound secret, that all stories are one story, all journeys lead to the same destination, all dreams converge in the infinite space where peace finally reigns supreme. The battles between Jedi and Sith, Republic and Empire, Resistance and First Order were never truly separate conflicts, but movements in a cosmic symphony that has played since the first sentient being looked up at the stars and wondered about their place in the infinite. Each generation discovers the same eternal truths through their own struggles, their own heroes, their own moments of darkness and redemption. Anakin Skywalker's fall and redemption echo through every soul that struggles, with the temptation to choose easy power over difficult wisdom. Luke's journey from farm boy to Jedi Master mirrors every dreamer who discovers that their most impossible fantasies might actually be memories of who they're meant to become. Leia's transformation from prisoner to leader reflects every person who refuses to let circumstances define their destiny. Rey's evolution from scavenger to skywalker, represents the ultimate truth that the Force has been teaching through millennium of galactic history. That identity is choice, that family is found rather than inherited, that the greatest power comes not from bloodline or training, but from the decision to keep hope alive in the face of overwhelming darkness. The Force itself breathes through your sleeping mind now, carrying you beyond the boundaries of any single story into the vast space where all possibilities exist simultaneously. Here, in the realm of dreams, you can walk with Jedi Masters through gardens that bloom with a living light, witness the birth of stars from the cockpit of impossible starships, feel the gentle touch of cosmic consciousness that knows your name and holds your destiny in perfect balance. In this space, the lightsaber's hum becomes the sound of your own heartbeat. The Millennium Falcon's hyperdrive is the rhythm of your breathing. The Force's whispered guidance merges with your own deepest wisdom. You are the hero of this story, the Jedi of your own adventures, the keeper of hope in your own galaxy of dreams. The twin suns of Tatooine set not on some distant desert world, but in the peaceful horizon of your own consciousness, painting the sky with colors that exist nowhere else, but in the perfect moment between waking and sleeping. The cantina music fades to the gentle sound of night winds through ancient temples, and Yoda's voice becomes the whisper of your own inner teacher, guiding you toward rest, toward peace, toward the place where all journeys end and all dreams begin. May the Force be with you, young dreamer, as you travel through the endless night toward morning's first light. May your rest be deep and your dreams be filled with the gentle wisdom of stars that sing lullabies across the cosmic dark. In sleeping, you join the eternal meditation of the galaxy itself, adding your peaceful breath to the rhythm that holds all worlds in perfect balance. The story continues in your dreams, where every ending becomes a new beginning, where every question finds its answer in the timeless dance of light and shadow, hope and peace, love and infinite possibility. Sleep well, citizen of the galaxy. The Force watches over your slumber, and tomorrow's adventure awaits your awakening. Rest now, as the eternal saga flows around you like a gentle tide, carrying you toward the shore, where all Star Wars stories ultimately lead. The place where peace reigns forever, where the Force flows like a river of light through every dreaming soul, where love conquers fear and hope illuminates even the darkest night. The galaxy dreams with you now, and in that shared dreaming, all beings find their way